Hey friends, welcome back to Mark Remeets World. I am your host, Mark Levy, and I am unbelievably excited to be here with you today to talk about Boy Meets World. If you haven't had a chance to watch today's episode, we're doing season 2, episode 7. Who Wake Up a Little Cory? Almost said Who's Afraid Cory? Well, but that was last week. But so if you haven't had a chance to watch this episode, I highly recommend you do so now. You can do it through Daily Motion, Disney Plus. Pirating. I don't recommend pirating, but something like that. You can also take a time machine or just get like in syndication. What I'm trying to say is this: you will enjoy this a lot more if you had a chance to watch that episode. So do so now. Great. So when I come back, you will see myself and my dear friend Scott Friedstein talking about Wake Up Little Cory. See you then. And we're back. I am so happy to be here with a dear, dear friend of mine whom I haven't talked to in a little while. But that's because life gets in the way sometimes. But we are here. I've got Scott Friedstein here. How are you today, my friend?
I'm good, Mark. How are you? Yeah, it's been a while.
I was so happy to I want to be on this. I'm like, great, you will be on this then
Yeah.
because
Well,
I know that you are a Boy Meets World kid also.
yes,
And
I was basically raised on Boy Meets World and various other ABC programming
yeah.
in the 90s. It was basically my parents weren't around, so I just watched ABC. I'm just kidding.
You're like, I was raised by Alan Matthews.
I was raised on TGIF. It was a whole thing every Friday. Was Boy Meets World part of the TGIF block?
Yeah, it was totally. Yeah, it
Sure.
was like anything like 8 or 8:30. Yeah, it was in the earlier part of the lineup, but yeah.
Yes. And yeah, so watching the episode, which we're going to talk about, it's kind of brought me back. I don't know if I got into Boy Meets World at the very beginning because I always remember it kind of like Corey and all the other characters being a little bit older than they were in this episode.
Yeah.
I guess they were around like 13 or so, very young.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
think a lot of people think of Boy Meets World Prime as like season 4 onward.
yeah. It
Like
kind of yeah. It went a little downhill once Matthew Lawrence joined. I think Joey Lawrence's brother.
I like Matthew Lawrence's character a lot personally, but whatever, it doesn't matter. I'm happy to talk about this episode here, which with you, which is a great one. It's a really good one.
It's good.
Uh
It's good. It really brought me back, and I loved it.
yeah.
It was very well paced, and the humor and the tone was just
It's
spot
a
on. Yeah.
yeah. Let's go to some of the important stats of the episode. It's
Yep.
episode season 2, episode 7. Wake Up Little Cory. It aired on November 7th, 1994. Directed by David Trainer and written by Glenn Mertzer. The plot very simple. Turner gives the kids an assignment to talk about sex scandal and love. And they make a videotape, and Cory and Topanga get in some controversy.
Yes. And I kind of like again I like the way it was handled. It was like a mature subject matter, but
Yeah,
it was different from a lot of the shows that kind of tackle that kind of stuff, where it really kind of gave the kids a lot of credit because it just kind of accepted that maybe sex and talking about sex doesn't have like an age limit. You don't have to you can approach it in a way that's kind of wholesome.
yeah.
So it wasn't this episode.
Yeah, like, so the episode starts off with Turner teaching much to do about nothing, and like they're like kids are like it's a really a funny shot. Like you see Turner being like very passionate about it, and then you notice that like the camera turns, you see the kids are all asleep. Corey's kind of like this, and like
Yeah,
everyone else is just like falling asleep. And like I
yeah.
think Turner says like they're riveted to their seats, and then like Sean falls out.
Yeah. By the way, no one, I mean, I've taken Shakespeare classes, read plenty of Shakespeare in school. No one was ever bored by Shakespeare. I think that's kind of like an old trope of
Yeah.
people. Like, oh, the kids like the classics, snooze. Um, wasn't, I mean, Shakespeare is, it will always be relevant.
Yeah. Like and the kids are bringing up why like they're bored by like the like literally like the whole big thing, like literally the episode starts with love, sex, scandal right on the board.
Mhm.
And like Topanga's like, well, we like Melrose Place, which I never heard of a kid that watched Melrose Place until today. And Sean's like NYPD Blue brings me happiness and all that stuff.
Yes, it kind of dates itself. Melrose Place, NYPD Blue,
And Barney.
and Barney were the hit shows back then. Yeah.
Yeah. Barney, it's so weird because Barney was a little too young for me, and since they're older than we were, I'm shocked that that was brought up. But
Yeah, well, there was a lot of Barney bashing going on
yeah.
in the 90s.
But yeah, so at that point, Turner was like, fine. If you kids don't want to know about like Shakespeare, like in the traditional sense with your projects, well, there's a lot of video equipment in the school. So I'm gonna make sure you guys do a video essay about love, sex, and scandal in the school. And like, yeah, and he tells the kids to pair off. Cory turns to Sean, and Turner's like, no, it's gotta be boy, girl. Yeah, I respect the hell out of that. Like a class having even numbers, boys and girls, for that type of essay.
And were Cory and Topanga dating back then? Or?
So they're becoming more closer to official. Yeah. So in season 1, like they kind of like they had their like weird flirtations and stuff like that. Plus, she is introduced in the her first episode at the end by kissing Cory. But the last episode before this, Who's Afraid Cory Wolf, which is the puberty episode, it ends with Cory and Topanga kissing.
Oh yeah.
That's their second kiss ever in the series. And so like you can definitely tell there's like some like love happening between them at this point. Especially at that point,
Right, because they just look at each other and it's like they know they're gonna have to pair up because maybe he doesn't know any other girl in school.
Yeah. And Feeney comes in, he's upset at Turner for being like, hey, why are you doing this? Like, why can't you just teach? Like with the usual Feeney and Turner fight about educational teaching styles between classic and more modern. And Feeney makes a very dated joke about Sex Lives on Videotape, the movie, which I think would have been even dated back then because the movie came out like 1989. Like, what kid knows Sex Lives on Videotape?
Yeah, and I kind of like it because I mean, if Feeney didn't let him do it, the episode would have been over effectively. So they were arguing, and Feeney's like, you know what? I don't think this is a great idea, but okay, you can do it. Just once.
And then so we get to like a large part of this episode is that like Cory and Topanga in the hallway shooting it, and it's just like very much like oh, I'm Topanga Lawrence, and like this is everything. Like Cory's just running around the halls, and she's like, Cory, focus on me, and like all that stuff. And it's actually very funny how he's like doing his cinematography for the video,
Yeah. I don't know, like what if there was like that was like the camcorder age.
Yes.
That was kind of like everybody had a camcorder. I mean, if America's Funniest Home Videos proved anything, it's that everybody had a camcorder back then.
You're right. Yeah.
Shoulder-mounted camcorder. Oh no, it's a palm corder or whatever.
Yeah, but it's just a thing of like it was really fun watching, like Cory just running around, like he's really all over. In theory, Cory is all over the set, but like whoever the DP is just running around the set with a camera. And like you realize how small the set is very quickly there, but like it's actually very, very funny. And like you like realize like Cory shoots exactly how you think you would make it. So then Cory and Topanga is like the news like anchor type person, but she has a microphone. She's going to talk about like sex and kids at John Adams High.
Very professional.
Yeah, like she's saving it professional while he's just like like going crazy. And she tells why sex is important to any boy anytime. That's an important joke for later. And then Joey comes out of the principal's office / bathroom because that door changes interchangeably.
Blake Bennett from Salute Your Shorts and Rilo Kiley.
Yeah, exactly. And it's so weird to see him in an episode, but not Frankie.
Right, because Frankie the Enforcer came along later.
No. They both started in season 2 at the top of season 2.
All right.
But it's Frankie's in a lot more of the series than Joey.
Okay.
Joey and like Harley are like in like the same amount of episodes, and then Frankie's in a lot more.
By the way, Harley, so I forgot about this. So the bullies in Boy Meets World are basically 50s style greasers.
Yep.
Like Like, yeah,
Hey,
yeah, hey,
wanna put you in the locker?
like extras in The Sopranos wearing bowling shirts and just like and leather, and also Jewish apparently.
You're
Harley
right.
Tiger sounds Jewish.
Yeah. I mean, I could see that at a bar mitzvah, you know?
Yeah, yeah. But they had the pompadour, and
Yeah.
I think it was a funny touch because I don't think anybody really like pointed it out back then.
But yeah, so I love this moment. We'll get more into this towards the end with our moment with Joey and Frankie, even though we don't have Frankie this episode. But I love like how poetic Joey thinks of sex as, and it is and can be.
The sensitive bully.
Yeah. You like that. You like that about Joey, and it's a cute little Joey moment. And we'll talk about that a little bit later. But like it's just like this whole little like montage is just very cute and very Boy Meets World funny. Like Sean's part, like everyone's part of it pretty much. Even like
Yeah.
everyone's part of it. Like basically, if you're a character in the show, you're a part of it. And like Harley appears and says like Cory needs like a permit to shoot in the hallway. And then Cory is like, hey, why don't you like be a star of this? And then like we get a cut, and then we see Harley dressed exactly like a greaser. Leather jacket, white shirt. You're like, what the hell?
Yeah. So he avoided an ass beating by basically letting Harley be in his video.
Yeah.
And he
and
has
just
things to say in the end. So
yeah. And like we actually see Harley sing at the very end, and it's just the most Harley thing ever. I love the part when he goes to talk to Turner, how and like Turner is like, well, love and sex are very important, and like you like Cory asks Turner if he's ever been in love, and like Turner just starts like,
Turner, coolest teacher of any TV show, any sitcom.
yeah.
I mean, the mullet. I mean, come on. He had the jeans, the tie, and he was. I mean, I know he later on, spoiler alert, adopted Sean, but
I mean that's how that is. But it's just so funny like watching like Turner be like, yeah, love and sex are important, and then like you just like finding out like Turner's had a lot of sex basically, and it feels
which makes sense. I mean, look at the guy.
I mean, he's a regular Scott Friedstein, but with a mullet,
Oh, okay. Well, true. But
and then like we leave the school property, and then we get home, and Eric is like lounging on the couch in a very uncomfortable way. He's like on the arm of the couch. Yeah, he's just like, hi, this is my dating video. Like
perfect butt cut. It got longer as the series went on, but
yes.
Gone, perfect side part. Middle part.
Wait, what's a butt cut?
That's what we called. It was a term for the middle part. That basically every.
I never heard the term butt cut before.
Yeah, because it basically looked like a butt.
I've heard of butt chin, but now butt cut.
Yes, it was kind of a. I actually attempted it, like in 4th or 5th grade.
I think I see a photo of you like that, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, it didn't look good. But I just wanted to be cool, and every 90s kid had a butt cut. So
I did it because I just had a Jufro. So
I would have killed for a Jufro back then.
Well, yeah. And it's just a really cute little quick moment with Eric and the video, and then Alan and Amy appear, and immediately Eric's like, also, if you're seeing this, those are my toll-free operators. Like, interesting or really funny little moment. He just magically appears like that.
Yeah, Eric was always pretty horny.
Yeah. Oh, from episode 1. Yeah. But I love how Amy, as the sweet mom that she is like, sex is like voting. Like, you want to be smart about it, you want to do your research. And then Alan says, you only get it once every 4 years.
Oh, that's sad. We know the state of Cory's parents' sex life.
Which is weird because I don't think that's true, because everything else that's ever happened in the series doesn't lead that to be like a thing,
I mean, the last kid they had was like Morgan, which is like, she's barely on the. I mean, she kind of pops up here and there, and she was like, it was 2 different actresses played her.
Yeah, it's still the first one right now, but she's that actress is a lot more in season 1 than season 2. Like, she's in like 10 episodes of season 2. Like, that's it.
Yeah, and then she ages. It's like kind of
Right. They ground her, and when she comes out being grounded, she's a different actress.
right, and no one comments. It's
Yeah.
hilarious.
It's just her being like, I was grounded for a long time. Like that was like the joke they made. And it's like, were you or were you recast?
It's kind of like a WandaVision.
I am so obsessed with WandaVision right now. I can't wait for next week's episode.
I am fully invested.
I literally watched episode 7 at 3 a.m. because I just couldn't wait any longer. And then that was a mistake because the character that's introduced is a character I do not know of.
I didn't know either. Yeah.
And I just was like, oh, here's like, I gotta do research. And I'm like, I gotta do more research. Oh my God. We're not gonna go spoilers on WandaVision. That's like, this is still week 1 for that episode. So we're not doing that at all.
Right. But I just look for the write-ups that, will inevitably come out about, stuff, Easter eggs, things like that.
Mm-hmm. So then like we finished like the whole, like this whole like montage is the whole like first act of the episode, like a little bit more than that. It's even like the first act and a half. Like it's a lot of the episode.
Yeah, and there's no B plot or anything like that.
Yeah,
I don't really know how. I mean most episodes really had just one plot. I want to say they really.
In Boy Meets World, I mean, it depends on how they use Eric normally. Mm-hmm. In the early seasons, then it's like what they do with Sean or etc. in the mid seasons But this one is a very straightforward. They're making a video episode. Like honestly, like instead of it being a 3-act structure, this episode, I think it's like making a video and then what happens after the video is shot.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So yeah. I'll continue. Sorry.
Oh no. I was just gonna say, yeah, it was a very kind of like it was just very neat. It wasn't like rushed. I think that's like I mean, I guess I got to watch more Boy Meets World, but I mean, the pacing was just like spot on.
Yeah.
And even though like this doesn't happen until later, but even though Cory and Topanga fight, they make up less than 5 minutes later, but it doesn't feel rushed.
No, it doesn't. And like I love that the show decides to give such a strong episode to supporting roles. Mm-hmm. Like almost everyone in the series at this point has a comment about love and sex, except for Frankie, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. Oh, like people.
Yeah.
Except for even like Feeny has a brief comment.
Mm-hmm. And I think in the back, I mean, they're kind of like silently accepting that at this age, those kids might be having sex, and that that's okay.
Which is absurd. They're like 13 years old. We'll get there in a moment. Yeah. But so yeah. Then Cory and Topanga are in the editing room, and Cory's like, "I'm having to have too much footage," and like you see the full edit, like the full thing of like Topanga's like, "Well, I believe that boys and girls like when they're ready, they'll find it. Guys just want it anywhere."
Yep.
And Cory re-edits it. Like Cory's like, "Well, this was my edit of it," and it's like, and it's just Topanga. It's just like, "I want sex everywhere," like.
Was it Eric who said that?
No, it was Cory.
No,
it's Topanga. Yeah,
but she had it. They edited it for her to say that, and she.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, she sort of did, but not really.
Yeah.
Also, this is like they spent like 2 minutes in the editing room scene of them just like being Cory and Topanga, and it's a really sweet early in their like Cory and Topanga-ness.
Mm-hmm. It's a great TV relationship. I think all time.
Yeah, it is an all-timer TV romantic relationship, and I believe that like 100%. Mm-hmm. Then janitor. So like there's a really funny thing. Like while Cory continues editing, then we have Janitor Bud in one of his like 4 or 5 appearances in the whole
Janitor
show.
Bud.
He's a big character in this episode, but like the first time we see this episode, he's in the video and he's like, "Ladies love a uniform," and then he gets like a page and it's like he has like puke in the cafeteria or something like that. Like,
yeah,
it was a vomiting cafeteria. It was like VIC or something like that.
Yeah. And by the way, I like that when Feeny and him are talking, he refers to him as Janitor Bud.
Yeah. Like it's like if Janitor is his first name and Bud's his last name.
Is his first. Like the principal of my high school, I think would refer to the janitor by his first name, but that's just me.
It's so stupid. I love it so much. And then we get a cut, like the camera cuts to Topanga. She's like, I'm tired, but I'm listening. Don't worry. And they also, before this all happens, Cory, Topanga calls her parents and she's gonna be at Cory's house, and Cory calls his parents and he's gonna be at Cory's house. I mean, Topanga's house is what he says. And so like they're like, so they can get the project done. And that's important to know. And Amy gets concerned about where Cory is. And we find out that this is an episode where Alan is very horny and he wants to fill in he wants his right to vote.
Doesn't everyone?
Yeah. I mean, we all want we all want Amy Matthews in 1994.
But I guess they just kind of like his parents just kind of sit around the house and
like mom goes to bed and like she's like way downstairs. Let me know like when Cory gets home, and then like it cuts to 7 a.m. and Amy's like, "Where's Cory?" And I was like, he upstairs, I guess, or not, I don't know. And then we find out that Cory and janitor Bud, when Feeney comes in, is like, I have something I have to show you, and Feeney's like, don't show me, it's gonna be gross or weird. And Feeney and janitor Bud's like, nope, this is important, you need to see this. And he brings him to the editing room, and you see Cory and Topanga kind of cuddly asleep.
Yeah, I mean it's sweet. It's not like
there's definitely like contact, but it's not like contact, you know.
Yeah, it's not implicitous. You could tell, like, oh my god, these 13-year-olds were having sex, clearly.
With all of their clothes on. But their arms, their arms are like tangled up. That's all it is. Like they're next to
they fell asleep in the AV room, and it's that simple.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And Feeney is like super upset. Like he's really upset about this whole situation because he's like, this is what we thought was gonna happen. And he's like trying to figure out how to punish Cory and Topanga. Because like that's the most important thing he can do at this moment as a teacher, as an educator.
But I think this is great. He actually lets Cory off and says, I won't tell anyone if you won't.
Yeah.
Like this nice relationship they have.
Yeah. And then Cory and Topanga leave Feeney's office, which is in a different spot this time because it's in the hallway, not like in the bathroom this episode. And then they get cheers and be like, yeah, Cory. And you realize that everyone thinks that Cory and Topanga fucked last night.
Yeah.
Like Harley's like, hey, Kid Baboon, I'm gonna need to know, did you sleep with that child also last night?
Again, could have been in The Sopranos.
And Cory lies because that's what Cory does.
Yeah. I mean, but also I think he's always been a little concerned about his social standing.
Yeah.
So this was an easy way for him to boost it.
Yeah. And like it's a really cool shot too. Like while that whole thing with like Harley and like the kids, all the guys are around Cory, and you see Topanga just watching by her locker. It's a really cool moment.
Yeah.
Like you see her realizing that Cory is slandering her good name because he wants to be cool, even though he doesn't realize he's doing something so bad at that point.
Yeah, I mean it's a little out of character for him.
Yeah.
But you know, it's at least there's justification there.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So we cut back to home, and Cory's in trouble. He's under 24-hour surveillance from the parents. He can't do anything. He's in serious trouble. And I'm trying to remember if anything funny happened there. Alan's just watching Cory at this point.
And he says like, my kids are grounded. Because in sitcoms, the punishment is always like extreme. Basically, it's cruel and unusual, the grounding.
Yeah. And you find out that Topanga shows up because she's pissed off too. Like he sullied her good name. And she is and Cory's like, oh my God, can you guys protect me from this? And Alan and Amy are like, oh, we're busy. And then they walk away.
It has shades of like the Scarlet Letter. I don't think that's too far off.
A little bit, yeah. And like, but Cory is still feeling kind of cool at this point too, even though he's like in trouble. He's like,
Yep.
yeah, I'm that guy that people think has had sex. And Topanga is like, Topanga does a very interesting tactic. She's like, Cory, if you want to have sex with me, have sex with me. Let's have sex.
Yeah, yeah. It's just like, whoa, okay, right.
And like, they're 13 years old on an ABC TGIF sitcom at this point too, which is really intense to watch. I'm not gonna deny that. Like, I was like,
never, I mean, you wouldn't see like Urkel and what is it?
Laura.
Urkel and Laura. Yeah, that would never happen with them.
Myra possibly, but that was just because
Myra. Yeah.
Yeah. But like this is like a really well acted scene from Danielle Fishel, and like it's just very, very interesting like how it is handled. And she's pissed off. Cory is like kind of upset like at the situation, doesn't know how to handle it, and it's like it's bad. It's really, really bad. Like it's a bad situation.
And yeah, it kind of made me like wonder how they were going to resolve it.
Yeah,
just like credit to the writers because it was very it was very clean.
Yes. So then we get to the time to show the videos. I want to point out that the classroom is full. Like people are standing to watch these videos.
Everyone's really, because I mean, I think the whole school was kind of like invested in this.
Yeah, like it's really
apart.
Yeah, I mean, Cory and Topanga had like 30 people in their video at least. Harley shows up, which is like the only time you ever see Harley in the classroom, I think, in the whole series. And like, he's like, I'm a star in this movie. And then Feeny walks in and he's like, why are you going to show this? Why are you doing this? Like he doesn't want the tapes to be shown. And he's pretty upset at Turner. This is actually one of the more upset you see Feeny at Turner at this point in the series. And Turner, you find out Turner has not watched the videos yet. And
it's kind of risky because you don't really. I don't think anyone knew what was going to be on the video. So
yeah, and yeah, so we get like the video, and it's actually well done. It's well edited. It's tight. It's kind of funny. It's edited for comedy, I think. But like honestly, like in that weird mid 90s kind of like it kind of reminds me of like the I was gonna say like the Rachel A. Cook egg drugs commercial where it's kind of funny but it's not. But like this is definitely
well that got pretty dark pretty quickly, that commercial.
Yeah. No, like that's the reason why I didn't say that. I mean I did say it, but yeah.
Emotional breakdown over eggs.
But no, it's a thing of like it's a very cute like kids like it's a well done video. And it's edited for comedy, and then it goes snowy and then comes back and you see Cory in his house and Topanga's like, what's happening? What are you doing? And he's like, oh, this is the director's edit. And you find out that Cory is deeply sorry about what he did. He kind of admits he's a virgin.
Which is very, very big of him.
Yeah, I mean, being a 13-year-old virgin's bold.
I have not had sex as a 13-year-old.
And Cory and Topanga, they make up, and he like apologizes about like sullying her name.
But also they emphasize that they're good friends.
Yeah.
Like it's friends. It's not
like
they're lovers yet.
That's what thank you remind me that's the big thing in the video. He's like, she's my friend and I care about her.
Yeah. It's mutual respect.
And that's good. Like you and me, we're friends, and I'm happy that we are. And
same, man.
Yeah. I mean, granted, I'm not trying to sleep with you, but if I were, no, I'm not going down that rabbit hole. So
hey, it's all good.
Hey man, it's all love here. That's all I know. I'm so happy to talk to you in this episode. It makes me so happy. Then we get our credits and we finally see what Harley's thing is. And he's just like, hey, I like having a girl with my Chevy Impala. And, it's like nice night out and everything. And we're like making out and I'm on top of her cigarettes. Like,
Oh, right. Yeah, I mean, because he smokes. I'm like, I don't know how old these people are, but
I mean, Harley's implied to be at least 20 years old. Like he's been held back a couple of years. So
okay. Well, that makes sense because he's clearly older than the rest of the kids.
I mean, the actor was probably like 25 while shooting this.
Yeah. Yeah. hmm
Yeah. Anything else you want to say about the episode proper?
Um. Yeah. I mean, just aside from the writing, which I thought was great, I thought it was just like a great Corey episode. It didn't really it didn't really sell out any of the characters. It kind of allowed them to explore a lot of kind of weird, maybe mature themes as themselves,
Uh huh.
and as with a really a comedic twist to it, which I thought was great.
Yeah.
And yeah, like you said, I mean, like the kind of like side players also got some really good scenes and lines in this episode.
Yeah. It's a really well balanced episode, like for a lot of those smaller roles, you know.
hmm
Yeah.
yeah, and I mean, it just kind of brought me back because I mean, it's a '90s sitcom, but I was just like, I found myself just like laughing at a lot of
It
the stuff.
it's a very very fun funny episode, and like let's talk about like one of those like parts of the episode. Like I'm gonna like seamlessly transition into like one of our segments of of our episode. Like let's talk about like Joey here. Like I love like we don't see Joey for like 2 episodes, and then like Joey appears and he's like, "Oh, you're making a video about love and sex, and then like tell you about my opinions about it." And like you he also implies he has a kid and a wife.
Yeah, you don't know if that's a joke or not because it's kind of like a wink wink thing.
But it's also like we get we get really smart Joey in this episode. Like it's the weird thing of like Joey is normally just the mouthpiece for Harley, and Frankie is the one that's like kind of like the idiot savant, you
Mhm.
know. But like it's a weird thing of maybe Joey like understands like Joey is like talking about like true love and beautiful things, and it's like really nice. And he's like is he talking about his like actual wife and kids, or is he talking about his wife and kids in the future?
He could be talking about his actual wife and kids, but also, I mean, he's fairly young, but not that young, so you never know.
I mean, he's like what 16?
I would say at least, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's a and
So it's they give the bullies some things, nice things to say, and it's like, hey, maybe if like you listen to the school bullies every now and then, you'll see they have things to say.
yeah. So let's realize that since Frankie is not in this episode, let's hypothesize what Frankie would say for this like love and sex video thing.
Well, I think so. Ethan Suplee always
Yeah.
had a thing for like really deadpan kind of I don't know, like serious lines in a deadpan way that you wouldn't expect from him. So I think he would kind of say like similar things to what Frankie and Harley were saying.
Oh, what Joey said. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. Oh, Frankie. Yes.
yeah.
Yes.
Because Frankie is Ethan Suplee. So
Yes. Yes. Exactly.
like, I imagine him be like, I want to take a girl to the Museum of Modern Art and then get her flowers fresh cut.
Right. Right. I think he's like a lot more cultured.
Yeah,
And I mean, if you were in this episode, I think it would show that side of him as well.
yeah.
Mhm.
And that's a moment with Frankie, Joey, and Frankie.
Mhm.
uh, so yeah, let's get to my next segment. Betsy Randall is the greatest TV mom in the world. A one, two, three, four. Betsy Randall's the best TV mom. Yeah.
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah. I
not
think
the
that's
biggest
not.
episode for her, but sorry, you go first. Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's not really that hot of a take. I mean, she's a great sitcom mom, you
Oh,
know.
I didn't think of this as a hot take when I came up with the segment idea
Oh,
in episode
yeah.
one. It was like she's just my favorite TV mom. Like that's real.
hmm
Uh,
Um, she's a very sweet woman.
yeah. In this
Very.
episode, we get a lot of the. I like her take on sex in this episode.
hmm
It's a very smart take on sex. The idea of like using like the right of like voting, you know.
Yes, I think she's like she's got that like wit to her. I mean, she's very sweet, but she has that kind of like dry, sardonic side.
Yeah.
Yeah. talking about because she's obviously very aware that her husband, wants to have sex, but she'd rather just continue her metaphor.
Yeah, it's just I just love it so much. How we don't get much, or we get maybe a minute of her in this episode, but it's just a really strong minute, she's a messenger in her second scene, like saying, "Hey, Topanga's here," but like there's so much care from her in this episode still that like even though we don't get much of her, it's still everything that we love about Amy Matthews is still present.
Mm-hmm. And they didn't really need to be in this episode because it wasn't. I mean, it was mostly about the kids.
Yeah,
but I guess they kind of just they were written in just to give the adult perspective.
I like it though. I like though like how they use Alan and Amy though in this episode. Like I know Alan's got a little bit more than Amy because he's got the whole little like arc of waiting for Cory, but like I don't know. It's just that thing of like I really really appreciate what they did with them. Like if they're like we don't have much time for them, let's give them a little segment of the video and then let's have two small scenes for them.
Mm-hmm. And we don't know if Cory is still punished at the end of the episode.
He probably is for another day or so, but the Matthews are fairly chill, unless it comes to Morgan.
Yeah, so Ellen always came off to me as like kind of nervous, just kind of the reluctant dad, not the dopey dad, but he was just always kind of like a little unsure.
Well, I mean, he's ex-Navy, and Amy seems to have been an actress of some sort. So
I don't think I knew that.
So there's an episode in season 1 called Kid Gloves, where you find out that Alan gave Cory a necklace for his birthday that you find out he got for coming in second place in all of the Navy and boxing.
Yes, I remember that.
Yeah. But it's not like it continues. This episode, even though it's not the strongest Amy Matthews episode, continues with the idea that Betsy Randall and Amy Matthews is the best TV model of all time.
Mm-hmm. I mean, she's got the full package,
Yeah.
I mean, she's got like the Carol Brady mixed with the just trying to think of like another kind of like smart ass sitcom mom, but those same qualities.
Yeah. Let's get your episode MVP. So my episode MVP, I'm going to give it to Topanga. I think Danielle Fishel does a really great job with what she has to do in this episode. It's also like one of the first times that we get serious Topanga in the series. I think she handles everything well. She handles the whole like have sex with Cory very well. Because like that's a weird thing to hear in 1990. That's a weird thing to hear back then and now. Of like a 13-year-old basically saying like have sex with me right now. Like it's off-putting, but like everything about her performance is great, and she's really amazing this episode. And they're really starting to understand how to use Topanga as writers in the series.
Mm-hmm. I agree. My MVP, I think it's Janitor Bud. I think he was like they didn't give him much to do, but damn it, like he just took what he had, and I mean he just milked it.
I mean, to be fair, I'll tell you how many episodes Janitor Bud's in the whole series, just because I'm really curious. Because he's in less than 10 for sure.
Okay.
Janitor Bud, where is he? Did I just click the wrong thing? I just clicked quotes because he's a very quotable character played by Bob Larkin. But Janitor Bud is in how many episodes? He's in 4 episodes.
Wow, of the whole series.
Yeah, he's only in 2 seasons.
Yeah. Well, you just assume, when he's not there, that the school does have a janitor.
Yeah.
I think it's a nice little side character. But in this episode, I mean, he doesn't really like fall into the trope of the creepy janitor.
Yes.
He's
Which we use him for a lot, actually. So
yeah. I mean, because he's a very sweet guy, and also he's a very proud janitor. He truly, I mean, he really cares about his job. You can tell.
I feel like there's a little Janitor Bud and Scott, especially.
I mean, maybe in another life, I would have been I could see myself being a janitor at that age.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that is the future. So
yeah. but just like, just a sweet guy.
Yeah.
And he kind of like approaches the kids and cleaning up puke with the same attitude. So
He's there for the paycheck,
yeah.
Yeah. Awesome. Scott, give me some of your plugs. I know you got your awesome Twitter and everything. So what?
Yes, you can follow me at Scott Friedstein. That's my name. COTTFRIEDSTEIN. Same handle on Instagram. I also have a page for my origami art. I do paper folding,
which is really, you're really good at it.
Oh, thanks. Thank you. Yeah, so you can follow me at Origami by Scott, all lowercase, separated by underscores. And that's my other account. And yeah, that's pretty much it.
Nice. My stuff quickly at Mark Levy 85 is the Twitter. If you want to email the show, super easy. Just email markremeetsworld@gmail.com. If you have a question or anything, I'll gladly respond. Coming up on Sunday, the 28th, got the 4th season of my game, The Adventure Game, which I'm very, very excited about. It's a choose your own adventure style game. It takes about 5 hours, and I'll be here on my YouTube and on my it'll be here on my YouTube. And yeah, just bopping around. Very excited. My second vaccine shot in a little under 2 weeks of this airing, so I'm very excited about that.
Nice.
Yeah,
I am getting mine, I believe, in the next month.
Nice. Your first or your second?
My first.
Awesome. I'm happy to hear that.
My whole family will be vaccinated by next month. Vaccinated by next month.
That's great to hear. Scott, I'm so happy to have had you here. This makes me so happy that you were like, yeah, please let me on this.
Mark, this was such a great surprise. I love talking about Boy Meets World. I never knew.
Well, then I hope to have you on more episodes then.
Absolutely. I love it.
Awesome.
Thank you so much. And yeah, I look forward to the next episode.
Great. And I will see you guys next week. Bye.